got to apologise. I forgot to do an intro to this video, so when I was editing it up, I suddenly realised I didn't have the intro, so here we go. I had a bit of a spare day-ish, and I decided to pick up the axles and take them down to Dad's house. I took the rear axle and the driving axle for the pom-pom, and we started pushing the wheels on. I pushed one wheel on one end, set to by eye to the right angle opposite the crank, and then following that I partially pressed on the other wheel, just enough that it stayed on, but loose enough that we could still turn it if needed. So let's go to where that is. With the chuck locked in place, the wheel is turned so the crank pin is against the jaw, and on the other side we put the tool and it's the right height so that this crank pin is pulled against there, doesn't move. So we just need to replace this axle with the other axle and set it to those faces. So I'm back home from Dad's. I've put the wheels back in the chassis. Now to find the coupling rods and put them on, and that will prove for certain whether or not the quartering on that middle axle is correct or not. And there we have it. The issue with it binding, it's not binding as such, the conrod is hitting the but if I move that, if I could just get that to stay out of the way, let's see if I can. There we go. So if it isn't right, it's not far off. Yeah, that's how I've chosen to do it. I know that there are hundreds of different methods of doing it. This way has worked for us today. Under different circumstances, I might have done a different method. It all just depends on what's available at the time. So that is now making a little bit more progress. The next stage, and the next time I work on it, I will probably be taking the valve chest cover off and setting the timing, because at the moment the eccentrics on the crankshaft are not even remotely set in position. They are just floating about wherever they like. So yeah, that's it for now. But when I'm doing that, I'm going to want more light. So my next thing is the cabling has turned up for my workshop, the garage side lights. So they're going to be wired up now. So the workshop lighting, if you remember when I did the workshop, I used some of these connectors at one point, which just connected the two wires together, although there were multiple ones at times. I've found, while I've been hunting, these. Similar thing, and these are for 3 different poles. So the 3 sides are isolated from each other, but the red's continuous, the yellow's continuous, the blue's continuous. That's great. So that's going to go on the end of the wire there, on the end of the lamp, to connect to the lamp to the cable. But then for the joints in the cable, in the other side we used a black block. But what I've subsequently found this time is these. So basically the same thing as we've just looked at, but you can have 1 in, 3 out. So you're connecting 4 cables together of each type. So let's have a little play with them. So I'm up here. As you can see, these LED lights have only got 2 connectors, 2 cables, no earth. But I decided to get 3-way because if I ever change the lamps and they come with one that has got an earth, I will want the earth connected. So as you can see, I've lifted these 2 legs. It's as simple as, let's see how well I can do this one-handed. It's as simple as getting the 2 wires into the 2 holes, just like that, then flick down the levers. That is a sound connection made. I'll get to that stage with all of them, and then we'll start looking at putting some wiring to connect them all together. So, if you can see that, the connectors are up there. There's the 4-way here, over there, and above my head for the 3 lights this side. And there's the 2 ways over that end connecting that lamp over to this side. These are all connected together. So all that's left to do is take a feed from that one to a block and to connect the main feed to that light into these instead of that. As you can guess, that means switching off the power out here, but it's dark outside, so that will be done tomorrow, hopefully. If I don't get around to it tomorrow, it will be another day later in the week, probably next weekend now, because it's getting into the winter, and by the time I get in from work, it's getting dark. So short of getting hold of a light to put out here to brighten things up, that is a bit difficult in the dark. So yeah, the next thing will be to take this lamp apart, take the cables out of it, put them into one of these connector blocks, and just simulate this run of lights being that light, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm at. So we've had a bit of progress on the pom-pom, we've had a bit of lighting. What's next? The next things will be, I still need to get some water in the Ginty and give that a test. Might get around to that tomorrow as well. I'll be taking the steam chest cover off of the pom-pom and giving that setting that up on timing it. We'll show you how we do that. And what else? Well, that's about it for the time being. What else is there? Yeah, so I've got to finish the lights, test the Ginty, set up the timing on pom-pom. We are getting there. That's a bit of progress. It just depends how I feel tomorrow. My back's been playing up. I've got an operation coming up which will put me on light duties for a little while, but that is beside the point. I will try and get stuff done still. It might just depend what I'm doing. Who knows, I might end up doing an air fix or something like that to keep me busy while I can't really get about for a while. But we'll see. I don't know how bad it's going to be. Don't know how bad the recovery is going to be. For now, thanks for watching. I hope something I've done has been of interest, and we will see you again another day. Take care.